Hey ghouls, Terror Krueger, the sweetest psychopath you'll ever meet, and welcome back to my channel. Ghouls, welcome back. Today we are doing a review for the film X. I saw it just last night and I was super pleased with the movie, and this video is going to be a total spoiler review, so if you don't want to hear about the movie, go see it first and then come back. Or if you don't care, when I saw the trailer I was like, oh my god, this is very Texas Chainsaw Massacre inspired, and then after seeing the movie I was like, this is very Tobe Hooper inspired, and I'll get into the reasons why right now. Alright, so the movie takes place in 1979. I'm not sure if the whole movie takes place in Texas, but it starts off at a strip club in Houston, so I was like, oh, very Texas, okay. One of the great parts about this movie is the cast. I forget the man's name, but the main guy who's like, oh, first of all, the movie's about these people who are going out to make a porno, and not just any porno. They want to make like this high class, high production, like very classy porno, like something that has never been done before. And they go out to this little farm, and they are going to film their porno movie called The Farmer's Daughters. And of course, they're filming their movie, and throughout the film, of course, some shit takes a wrong turn, and then there is a slasher killing everybody. So with that as the concept and everything, it sounds like a very smutty, like trashy film, but the way it was done was very amazing. I don't know, I really enjoyed this movie, and I love the way it was filmed, and I love this, like, the plot and everything. So let's get into it. Okay, so the actors. So the main guy, the one who's going to be like the director of the film, the porno film that they're making in the movie, he's played by the guy who played the dad in Strangers Pray at Night, and he was also in The Ring. When I first saw the trailer, I thought he was Matthew McConaughey, and when I showed the trailer and I saw the movie with other people, some of them thought it was Kurt Russell, and I was like, oh wow, I could really see that. And forgive me, I'm old, children. I didn't know that that was Kid Cudi till after the movie. I was looking up the cast, and I was like, oh, I've heard the name before. I know he's like a rapper or something, but I didn't know like that was him in the movie, because I didn't really even know what he looked like. Britney Snow, I was excited to see her in it because I wanted her to redeem herself after that horrible Prom Night remake. She's also been in other cute horror films, such as in Would You Rather. That one is a really good one. If I ever start covering like other movies, like older movies, that is a really cute one. I enjoyed. She's also in John Tucker Must Die. She was in season 3 of Nip Tuck, and the movie Hairspray. She played Amber Von Tussle, and I fucking love that movie, especially even the remake. I'm a very big John Waters fan, so anyways, see, I'm going off topic. And then again, we have Jenna Ortega. I just saw her in Scream 5, and apparently she's in other horror films like Conjuring and this movie that the Foo Fighters made called Studio 666. I saw the trailer. It looks kind of interesting, so maybe I'll check that one out. We'll see. And then this cute guy who's like supposed to be like the cameraman. He has longer hair. I thought he was a Culkin brother. He wasn't. I looked up all his film stuff. I don't think I've ever seen him in anything else. And Mia Goth, I'm not sure how you pronounce it. Oh my god. Like right away when I saw the film and I saw the older lady character, I was like, she's being played by a younger actress. I can totally tell it's a younger woman played her. But what really took me by surprise is at the end of the movie when it showed the names of everyone who was who in the movie, you know, the credits. I was surprised that Mia Goth was playing the old lady, Pearl. I was like, oh bitch, like I knew it was a younger girl playing her, but that she played her, it was cute. So right off the back, if you are a horror fan and you have horror children or horror children who are horror fans, this is one you might want to leave them out of, or at least go see for yourself before you decide if you want them to see it, because this movie is like, the whole premise of the movie is they're making a porno, so it is very sexual. You see a lot of things, and the language could be filthy. Besides that, I mean, there's a ton of fucking violence in this movie. This movie is quite disturbing in funny ways and in gruesome ways. And what I like about the movie too is that it was kept very, like, for the most part, like very true to life, like things that could happen, which makes a lot of the things that happen that are disturbing or gory so much more disturbing and gory. Disturbing and gory. Like, one of my favorite shots is I'm gonna call her Mia Goth, because I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce her name. I've heard it pronounced different ways. up to now, so I'm gonna call her Mia Goth. It just sounds the most accurate. Um, it's one part where she's skinny dipping. You kind of just see her like floating on the screen right here, like in this wide shot, and then you see like this fucking alligator just kind of coming at her while she's just like, you know, floating, doing her thing. Is not even aware that she's in danger, and you're kind of just like, oh shit. And then as she starts like swimming off to the dock, you see the alligator getting closer and closer to her, and then she makes it out without even realizing she was in any danger. I love that. It was so like kind of like suspense building. Also, it was like right at the beginning, so you're like, okay, she's not gonna get killed, but maybe like there's gonna be a whole action scene of this. But no, it just built up the suspense. Like I said, the movie is very Tobe Hooper inspired. If you don't know who that is, he is the one who created, well, not created, but he is the one behind the Texas Chainsaw Massacre and other films like Eaten Alive. Like the set, the whole scene with the alligator, and from other things in the film I'll talk about right now, it reminded me of the movie Eaten Alive, where this guy, well, see, they mentioned the movie Psycho because for the most part, this movie is a slow burn. But unlike Midsummer, I wasn't bored. I actually enjoyed the first part of it, where you're watching the movie and you're kind of just into it, and you kind of forget, like, oh, this is a horror movie until all the horror shit starts happening. And they make a reference to that, like as in Psycho, where you know, like the first half of the movie is just this woman doing her thing, running away to hide from the hotel after she stole money, and then she's the main character and then gets killed off, and then they switch into a horror movie. It's kind of very much that, and I liked that they kind of referenced that because also Tobe Hooper's movie Eaten Alive is also about a woman who's going to look for her missing sister, and she ends up at this hotel where this guy is killing people, and there's a giant alligator outside who eats everyone. It is actually starring a very, well, it's not even starring, it has a very young Robert Englund before he even played Freddy Krueger in the film, and he does get eaten by the alligator in that movie. It's a very interesting film. If you haven't seen it, check it out. It's called Eaten Alive. I believe it's free on YouTube. Um, but yeah, like some of the scenes with the alligator kind of gave me a throwback to that. And then even in the movie, how they mention the reference to Psycho, like it's, I forgot the name of the type of film it is, but it's one movie and then switches to something else. So one of the parts that was kind of disturbing, well, not just like, it was kind of more like, ooh, cringy, like weird, like just think of yourself in that situation, is that they're staying on this farmhouse that they're renting from this old couple. Of course, the old couple has no idea what's going on. Um, that man does mention that his wife is a little crazy, and one of the girls like sees her outside and she calls her in and she has a glass of lemonade with her, and the lady's just kind of talking to her like all depressed about being old and how she's admiring the youth of this girl. So right away I'm kind of like, lesbian. There was a part though that made me and my friends laugh because she goes to stand the girl in front of the mirror, she's like talking to her, and the girl's like kind of in her porno outfit, which is just overall, so like you can see a lot of her side boob hanging out, and she's standing there in the mirror, and the old lady kind of just like touches her and kind of like freaks her out. She's like, what are you doing? And at that moment her husband shows up and she's like, shh, this will be our secret. And she kind of just looks at her like, what will? Just very fucking weirded out. I don't know. We laughed at that real part. Quick, on a side note, I want to talk about Britney Snow. I'm not sure if it was really her singing, but if it was, like, she was amazing. She did a cover of Landslide while they're all just sitting in the cabin talking, and I was like, bitch, is that on Spotify? I couldn't find it. Hopefully they eventually put it on there because I really loved the way she covered it. If it was her singing, either way, I really liked the cover of it. But Jenna Ortega's character in the movie is like this kind of conservative young girl. Like she's just the boom mic operator for the film, and at one point she gets like so into whatever is going on, so she's like, I want a part in the movie. So her boyfriend and her kind of fight about it, and she ends up doing it. Later in the night, the boyfriend, I guess, gets really pissed off, so he decides to take off, and this is the moment the movie switches over to horror. As he's like trying to peel out, first of all, being a dick, he's gonna leave them all abandoned in this like random like farm, because he's taking the van. As he's like pulling out, like he sees the old lady, so he gets out thinking she's hurt or needs trouble. And more of the cringy, like disturbing weirdness with the old lady starts as she just tries to like make a move on him, and he kind of gets all grossed out and like rejects her, so she gets mad and stabs him in the throat. She just kind of just starts going crazy, stabbing him in the fucking throat, to the point where I think his head comes off. At least that's kind of how it looked to me. Um, and yeah, it's just kind of like, bam, like I said, the movie gets gory, and I really loved that. So the deaths in the movie were really cool, even though some of them were kind of like quick, but I did like you see some of the gore afterwards, like the guy who looked like Kurt Russell gets stabbed in the face with a pitchfork because he's like peeking out of the barn. Britney Snow by far had my favorite death of the movie. She sees the old lady like on the deck and she thinks she's confused, so she goes to like help her out. The lady kind of slaps her and gets all mad, and then at one point pushes Britney Snow into the water. And when she's like trying to swim out, the fucking alligator just attacks her, and you just see it rolling around, like ripping her apart. I was like, bitch! It was cute. And then literally like they kill off all the men first. And what I like about the movie too is like I said, since the first half is so much like character development and building up to the movie before you see that it's a slasher film, you feel bad or you kind of like, ah, when people die. And I miss that they do that in some films, because for one thing I did like too about this film is it reminded me of very like late 70s, early 80s horror movies where it's just a bunch of hot people getting naked and wandering off to get killed for pretty much just that reason to be killed. But it also kind of gave you good character development, so you cared about these people when they died. And I feel for a slasher movie, for the most part, like there is memorable kills, but when it comes to the characters, like for me, one of the biggest like memorable character in a horror movie that got killed because of all the character development from the film was Tatum from Scream. If you know me, like I've been obsessed with Scream since I was a kid, especially Rose McGowan's character Tatum. Like it's just that like it had that kind of effect like on me with the characters, because you kind of got to know them, so you felt bad when bad shit happened to them. um, so to kind of like give away who the killer was, because I didn't think that it was too hidden. I guess kind of like I didn't really think about it too much after watching the trailer and then watching the movie. It was kind of like, oh, it was right there, but I didn't really think of it too much. So it's the old couple who's actually killing everyone, and apparently they have a reputation for just like killing people and doing all this shit. Because at one point Jenna Ortega's character gets locked in the basement, and when she's flashing the flashlight around, she sees some guy like dead, like he's all chained up or whatever, and she's freaking out trying to escape. Um, so it's apparently something that they've been doing. And at one point, when Kid Cudi's character is helping the man look for his wife because she's wandered off, he finds that there's like a Volkswagen like submerged in the pond. Like, I guess that's where they dump all the cars and everything. Um, and kind of like the whole reason behind her killing is that because she's jealous of their youth, is from what I got. My friend had made a good point that kind of in the movie, like at the end, he's like, you kind of didn't really get why they were killing, just the fact, I guess, that she was upset that they were still young and she wasn't. But like if you stay after the credits, you actually see that one of the coolest things that they did with this movie, I thought, was that there is already a prequel filmed, because at the end you see that it goes back to the story of the older lady named Pearl, who's going to still be played by Mia Goth, because that's who played her as the old lady. Like I said, she was two characters in this movie. And when they showed like the little clips, I was kind of like, "Bitch, where's this movie? This looks good." And apparently, they are going to be coming out soon with the prequel, and I don't know when, but it does show her as a young lady when they first move into the house, and it shows her like killing, I guess, her grandfather, someone, by dumping him into the alligator, and her going around killing a bunch of people. Like, it looked really cute. It looked really, really interesting. So I'm excited for that. Like, so I guess some of the things were kind of left to be unanswered, so they could answer in this film. A lot of the reviews I watched too, some people were saying that the movie was just like, oh, it took too long to get to the horror. I can get that if you're someone who doesn't really have patience, or like are strictly going to a horror movie in that sense just because you want to see some tits and blood and all that guts, which is fine. I mean, I love that just as much too. But like I said, I really enjoyed that the movie was a slow burn building up into the horror, because in a way it does kind of get based off real life, like when at first they don't really realize that they're expecting all this shit to happen. But like I said, one of the more disturbing parts is like the old lady's obsession with Mia Goth's character. When she like crawls, like she takes off her clothes and her old little titties are out, and then she gets into the bed with her and she's like all touching her. And at first, like I thought she was gonna start killing all the girls and whatever to wear their skin like Leatherface, but no, she was just saving them for whatever reason. They never explain. Like I said, maybe they will in the prequel. But when she wakes up and sees the old lady there, she screams and runs out, and that's kind of when all the madness starts. Um, with one of the parts that I thought was really cool with the building of the suspense too is Jenna Ortega's character's trying to get herself locked out of the basement that she's locked in, so she's like breaking the door. And I like the suspense of her sticking her hand with the broken door, trying to grab the lock, and the old man just comes with a little hammer, starts bashing her hand and breaking her hand, and her pulling it back in. I don't know. I just really like that scene. And I like the way her character developed. I kind of built it up to where I liked her and to where I didn't like her at the end. Um, Jenny Ortega and Mia Goth are the last people surviving in this movie. Um, I thought the other part me and my friend laughed at so hard is towards the end of the film. So Mia Goth gets back into the house and she's gonna try to escape. She hears Jenna Ortega yelling inside, so she grabs the gun from the glove compartment, goes inside to get her out, and then she starts being all dramatic and she's like, "I hate you." She's like, "Your dirtiness." Oh yeah, and the movie really quick is about like all like this Jesus-y stuff and like being sinful, this and that or whatever. And that's why Jenna Ortega's character is so at first like against like filming a dirty movie until she like gets really into it. So of course she's blaming like her all the sex and stuff on why these old people are killing them. So she runs out of the house, and the minute she runs out, she gets shot in the head with a fucking shotgun. And the makeup and the gore in this is amazing. First of all, I forgot to mention, like, so the movie opens where it shows like the aftermath of the crime scene, but all the bodies are covered with like sheets, so you don't know who's dead where, but you do see like there's bodies of people like all over. So they shoot Jenny Ortega in the head, and the old people are bringing her in. Oh, one part before that. Oh my god. So right before Mia Goth's character makes it into the house, the old couple are walking around the cabin that they're staying in, and she's hiding under the bed. And like the old lady is so like jelly of like the young girls because she was watching them all like, you know, make the porn. So she keeps begging the husband to like screw her, and he's like, "I can't, my heart," or whatever. And then finally like they get to it, and you see like the most cringiest, hilarious scene of like old people like just screwing, and her under the bed as the mattress is like going up and down on her. Oh, it was hilarious. And then she makes her way out, and that's when she gets to the house. Anyways, okay, so me and my friend, like I said, we couldn't stop laughing. Like it's kind of like a dark comedy horror, I guess. I don't know if we were supposed to laugh, but we laughed. So it shows the old couple dragging Jenny Ortega's like body back into the house, and it's cool because you get a close up of her face that because she got shot in the face with a shotgun, and you see like the whole bottom of her jaw is gone, so her teeth are just hanging out, and her face is like blown off. And I guess she lets out one more death gasp before she like dies because she scares the old man, like he's pulling her in, and she's like or whatever, and he's like and then he just fell against the wall and had a heart attack and died. I thought that was like the funniest thing ever. Like the whole old people, their death was just hilarious and satisfying, especially the old lady. So Mia Goth's character has the pistol to her, and she's all like gonna shoot her, and she realizes the gun's empty, so she's like, "Damn!" And the old lady gets back up with the shotgun and tries to shoot her, but she ducks, and the fucking force of the shotgun throws this old bitch back out, like literally throws her out of the front door, like literally throws her out of the front door onto the porch, and she like grabs the keys to the truck, and she goes out there, and the old lady's on the floor like, "Help! I broke my hip." And then she's like, she says some quirky little one-liner to her, gets in the trunk, and she like reverses on her. And I love that it shows like the fucking tire roll over her head as she goes reverse and forward back over her and gets away. And yeah, like I said, it was kind of different. It was an A24 film, so they have a reputation for always kind of taking weird twists and doing weird shit with their movies. This definitely goes up there with some of my favorite A24 films, such as like Hereditary and Us. I really enjoyed this one, and I really recommend it. Like I said, if you have children who are also horror fans, this is one I recommend you view before letting them view it. Because you know what I find that funny though, saying it's like it's totally okay to see all the gore and violence but not the sex. But like I totally get it, because even as an adult, like I love taking my parents to go see horror movies. And if they're violent, I have no problem sitting there with them watching like a violent movie. But the minute it gets into graphic like sex, it's just kind of awkward, and I'm like, So yeah, I guess it's like I can get violence is more acceptable over sex. But anyways, I thought it was a great film. It's definitely one to check out if you are into horror, or even not. It's just a fun movie. It's a fun watch. There was like a ton of people in the theater, and I just love watching like movies for the first time with a big group like that, because the reaction to some of the shit that happens is always so fun to see, like what other people, like how they react. Because like I said, me and my friends, for the most part, we just laugh. We're all very desensitized, so there's really nothing that scares us. Like this movie isn't like scary, like oh my god. Like there's like little jump scares here and there. The movie is just entertaining. Like it was fun. So like I said, I highly recommend it. This is one I will definitely probably own too when it comes out. I know people don't really buy DVDs and all that shit no more, or Blu-rays. Sorry, it's showing my age. But this is definitely one I'll collect along with Scream 5 when that comes out in April. But anyways, like I said, I've rambled on way too long. So let's just go ahead and end it here. I'll go ahead and leave my cash app down in the link below if you want to tip this witch. Also, along with the link for some Terror Krueger shirts. I'm working on getting more done with a cute little logo and shit I have a friend working on. And of course, my dogs bark at my outro. But anyways, like I said, what I would always appreciate so much more is if you smash that like button, hit that bell for notifications, subscribe to this channel, and until the next time, this is Terror Krueger, and I'll see you ghouls later. Bye!